Bezrat Hashem. And I want to share with you a thought which really can't be overlooked. And it's important to speak about now and channel it towards the upcoming zman and really for the rest of our lives. I overheard two different staff members, not of this yeshiva, of a different yeshiva, that one person said to the other, they saw the Talmidim after Sukkot, and they couldn't believe that when they saw them, the Talmud was basically the same as he was before Sukkot. So, and he was like really like disturbed, like nothing changed. And the other staff member said, like, well, what's the big deal? Like, okay, great. Like, what's the problem? He said, you don't understand. He said, the hostages were freed. How could that not have done something to the Talmud that it literally would change them, that they would now want to do X, Y, and Z, literally take on a whole new level of avodas Hashem. And they were going back and forth explaining why it happened and didn't happen, and it happened at a time when they weren't in yeshiva, so it didn't impact them, and whatever it was, and they're going back and forth. So I'd like to share with you a thought which was already said by Rav Dessler. Rav Dessler was the mashgiach in the Gateshead Yeshiva in the early 1940s, and in the late 1940s became the mashgiach of the Panovich Yeshiva. And in 1948, after the state was established, a bunch of months later, in September of that year, he was not present in Eretz Yisrael. He had to take care of personal business, and he was back in England. And he writes a letter to his Talmidim in Panovich, lamenting over the fact that he's not around them. It's September, it's Elul, the Yom Noraim, and that's when the Mashgiach is supposed to be there. You know, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and here Rav Dessler is not with the Talmidim. So he writes a letter to it. It's printed in the Michtav Me'Eliyahu, an amazing sefer that everyone should try as hard as you can to learn this year. And in Michtav Me'Eliyahu, the letter's printed, and he writes to his Talmidim how he's sorry that he's not with them in Israel, in the yeshiva, during the Yom Noraim. And he says, and don't forget when this was, okay? This is September of 1948, and the state was declared in May 14th of 1948, which was followed by the Independence War. So it was a very, very serious time in the Jewish people. And he writes as follows. He says, why is it that difficult things, Hashem sometimes comes and does bad things, we'll call it bad. Okay, nothing's bad by Hashem, but it seems like it's bad for the Jewish people. Why does someone not feel good, someone have challenges? Why does that happen? So he says it's clear, and he goes through different proofs. The reason is, again, you never know why each person individually, but it's in order to wake the person up a little bit, to get serious. And unfortunately, we see that when people get sick, when we know people who are sick, it wakes us up a little bit. We daven a little more, we take on a little more mitzvos, we take things more seriously. And I had read about already certain gedolim of our generation who since October 7th wouldn't sleep on a bed. And then right after Simchas Torah, they had a picture of them putting the mattress back on the bedboard. Someone close to 80 years old, literally sleeping on a bedboard for the last 2 years. And I was telling this over to someone, and someone told me that his father, who's my age, wouldn't sleep with a pillow for the last 2 years. Okay, all of a sudden, we do things that we wouldn't normally have done. It's not the norm, but we feel something. It changes. When something difficult happens, it changes us in order to become more serious and step up our game. Okay? So he says that's one way that Hashem tries to get us to do tshuva. Halavai, everyone would just do tshuva on their own. We think we should be better. We think we should be more serious in our davening, more serious in our learning, more serious in our avodas Hashem. We should be better roommates. We should be better friends. Of course we should always do that. And we should just do it on our own. But sometimes we're human and we don't do it. So Hashem stirs the pot a little bit to get us moving. But says Rav Dessler something amazing. He says that's not the only way that Hashem gets us to move forward. Sometimes it's with extreme bad, but sometimes it's with extreme chesed. It's with extreme good. Hashem does something like, whoa, that was amazing. That is incredible. Like, I feel the kiss. I feel the love from Hashem. I feel that I'm so close to Hashem. What does that mean? I want to step up my game. I want to daven better now. I want to wear my tefillin a little longer. I want to make sure that I'm wearing tzitzis even though maybe I don't have to be wearing my tzitzis. I all of a sudden step up my game because I feel the chesed. I feel the love. And he writes very clearly, I highly recommend everyone to read this. He says, on one hand, we had the Holocaust, and the Holocaust was a terrible, terrible, terrible time for Klal Yisrael. We can't even say the word terrible enough. Destruction, really the lowest of the low. It's an extreme bad, which, yes, it did push people forward on some level. But on the other flip, he says, with the establishment of the state of Israel, we had the extreme good. And he says, anyone who doesn't notice it and doesn't recognize it is literally blind. They're blind from seeing the incredible chesed that Hashem is giving us. And that, what's the point of that? That's supposed to be ma'orer people, supposed to wake us up to want to be even better. Wow, I got an amazing gift from Hashem. Hashem is here. Hashem has helped me out. We went from a crazy, terrible destruction to within almost no time, this incredible chesed, extreme chesed, for thousands of years. We didn't have this. And all of a sudden, you have a Jewish state. The extreme good. It's unbelievable. And when you feel that and you experience that, it pushes you to want to go ahead and be a better Jew. Just love Hashem even more. Chevra, we're talking about something that happened many years ago, 80 years ago. Some of us, okay, we'll go to Poland and we'll experience it, we'll think about it, but we're not living it. We literally lived in the last 2 years through the exact same thing. The exact same thing. We had a terrible destruction, one that's mind-boggling. No one can even figure out how in the world did that happen. It doesn't make any sense. Terrible, created fear, created anxiety, created tremendous tzara for all of Klal Yisrael in serious, serious, terrible ways. And I was watching before this morning an interview with Ram Bruslavsky, who one of the hostages was just freed, and he was describing what he went through. 2 years in that Gehenna. And he said they beat him every single day. He said they tried to convince him to become Muslim, to try to convert, and they said they'd give him more food if he would do it. And he said, I am a Jew, I am a Jew, and he wouldn't do it. And they beat him even more. And he came out, and you have to listen to this thing. He doesn't look observant. And he's talking about how the importance of knowing and identifying as a Jew, and he says, and doing mitzvot, and achdut, and he's saying that's all that I cared about while I was there. Mamish being beaten and beaten and beaten and starved, and the Gehenna, and it brought something out in him for him to grow. And Baruch Hashem, maybe, I hope, we were all davening, and maybe some of us didn't sleep with a pillow, and maybe some of us did a little extra chesed or whatever it is, but we weren't being beaten, and we weren't feeling it in that way. It wasn't our brother, our sister, our child that was literally in that, but Klal Yisrael was in it. And we experienced something terrible, the extreme bad. And then in a very short time, miraculous things happened. Hezbollah out. Iran out. Syria switched them over. Like, what is going on over here? It's a miracle, miraculous things in the highest level. And then the culmination of it, this Simchas Torah, literally 2 years right after to the date, and the hostages that everyone has been protesting for and davening for and caring about and worrying about and thinking about, freed. It's an amazing, amazing chesed, a kiss from a Kadosh Baruch Hu. And for us to just like, whoop, good, I don't have to worry about that anymore, is animalistic. It shows that not only we're not Jewish, we're not human. But if we go ahead and we take the time to think about the chesed from Hashem, the kiss from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that he loves us so much and went from an extreme to an extreme in such a short period of time. So even if, for some reason, we didn't wake up 2 years ago, we didn't change, we didn't take on more mitzvos, maybe we weren't old enough yet, maybe we weren't mature enough yet, maybe we needed to be in Eretz Yisrael when it happened, I don't know. But maybe we didn't step up our game in the same way. But now that we experienced what just happened, that's a whole new level. And we have to take time to think about that and appreciate that and recognize the chesed, the extreme chesed that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did for us. And not just say, thanks, God. But instead say, okay, so what can I do more? When I get that kiss, when I get that hug, what could I do more? Everyone in this room, I don't even have to ask, please show of hands. Every single person in this room davened at some point well for these hostages. And our tefillos were answered. You know, sometimes people say, how do I know if I should believe in tefillah? I don't know if my tefillos were answered. Hello? This is the most incredible thing that ever, and I really didn't think it was going to happen. I really didn't. Our tefillos were answered. And we now feel the love, and we feel the kiss, and we feel the chesed of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Says Rav Dessler, what is that supposed to do? It's supposed to ignite tshuva within us. It's supposed to stir up feelings of like, I could do more. I'm sitting here literally in the air conditioning, eating shawarma and cake opposite the kotel. Why do I have that bracha? For me to be able to do more than the person that's sitting in the tunnel, starving to death, being beaten, can't do. We could do a lot more than that. We could push ourselves to whole new levels. And we have to take the chesed, the love from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and push ourselves. We have an amazing, amazing opportunity. Going into the winter zman, ritzifus, consistency. We don't have so many breaks right now. We could go ahead and learn and try new things and push ourselves in our davening, in our mitzvos, in our bein am lechaveiro, building relationships with Rabbeim. We have so many opportunities now. Before you know it, it's going to be over. Now we got to go ahead and take the time to think about the amazing chesed of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how much He loves us, how He answers our tefillos, and how He's just there for us to lift us up and push us forward. And we have to channel the love that we feel into action, to go ahead and push ourselves to do a little more, or maybe even a lot more. We don't have to be so little. Okay? Let's do a lot more than we thought we were capable of doing. Let's push ourselves to learn those Gemaras, push ourselves to memorize what needs to be memorized, push ourselves to finish Shnai Mikra Vechatargim, push ourselves to go ahead and finish Chumash, and finish Navi, and learn Halacha, and just push ourselves to do it. We can go ahead and do it in significant ways. We're all capable of doing it. We have all the resources to do it. Just got to be there, be present, and make it happen. And Bezrat Hashem, should never ever forget the love. We shouldn't ever need the disasters extreme on the other end to wake us up. But we should show HaKadosh Baruch Hu that when He shows us the chesed, we're also able to step up our game. And Bezrat Hashem, we'll all be able to use those emotions and those feelings to motivate us to be able to accomplish tremendous things. Before you know it, we're going to turn around, we're going to be sitting in this room and literally celebrating all the incredible siyumim and accomplishments that every single one of the amazing people in this room have made, dancing together and thinking back at how we all started from the love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that pushed us into that state, that brought us to the highest levels of success. Hashem should just shower everyone here with a lot of bracha, with a lot of love, a lot of chesed, and we should be able to go ahead and use that water that comes down to be able to accomplish everything that we dream of and even more.